a DFS option to pay up for. Jeffrey.
I mean, the obvious play here is obviously going to be Alex Ovechkin. I mean, there's a pretty big, gap between him and Sidney Crosby, just in terms of the top two players on the slate. Obi's averaging 5 shots on goal per game, 16 points in his last 10 games. I'm going to throw out another player, though, I really think you should be getting a piece of tonight, and that's Phillip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators. He's only 6,800, but his shot rate isn't quite up there with Obi, but it's close. He's got 12 points over his last 10 games as well, and he gets a Blackhawks team here who, they're really inconsistent. I mean, they haven't won 2 games in a row since early November. And the Predators are one of those teams dealing with COVID issues, especially in their forward group. I think Forsberg's going to play a ton tonight. You'll probably see him push for 21 minutes. It's a very good matchup against the Blackhawks, who still allow a ton of shots on goal and quality scoring chances. I think Forsberg here, other than Ovechkin, is really the pay-up guy for me, and he really isn't going to cost you that much at 6,800.
Paul, Ovechkin, highest priced player by far, $9,600. I saw you mention to AJ on Twitter moments ago that you would maybe sing the praises of Sidney Crosby for him.
Yes, I feel obliged to do that for my podcast partner, Emerson, so I'm going to do that because I think most of the other expensive options on the DK board are facing tough matchups. So since AJ's not with us, I'll wax poetic about Crosby for a little bit. You can turn away if you like. But for $8,100, this guy is a hot bargain tonight. He has the favorable matchup against a Sabres club that doesn't look like they have anyone who will neutralize him anytime soon. And he has 15 points of his own in his last 10 games. So hot stick as well. I think he builds on those totals in a big way tonight because he and his Pens are really rolling. I love Geoff's call on Phillip Forsberg. He's the other must-have guy in my eye as well. One of the league's most skilled forwards who's been on an extended scoring streak. And Geoff mentioned the 12 points and 34 shots in his last 10 games. He'll only cost $6,800 against a Chicago club that doesn't play defense that well, in my opinion.
Yeah, Crosby's on fire. 15 points in his last 9 games, averaging well over 3 scoring chances a contest as well. Paul, how about a DFS value play?
Well, the top line of Vegas was silenced the last time out, so I'm back on Chandler Stevenson in this spot. He costs still only $4,000, despite being the center on a number 1 line with Pacioretty and Stone on the wings. I don't think that they'll be silent a second game in a row. He's been a consistent point-per-game guy on the season, averaging over 10 DraftKings points per game, so he's a solid value in this price range, better than most others at that rate as well. I think the only other guy that I would consider down here comparable is Ivan Barbashev. He's been thriving with a recent move to center on the second scoring line in a depleted St. Louis lineup. And he gets the benefit of skating between Tarasenko and Buchnevich, who have had fine seasons in their own. And he's accounted for 11 points in his last 10 games, costing only $3,600. Another screaming hot value in this price range.
Geoff, hook us up with some value, dude.
Yeah, I really like Clayton Keller these days at 4,100. I know it's Arizona and they're not very good, but Keller is basically on a point per game average here. And he's just like he's always been a player who you kind of expected a little bit more from. He's got a very good shot, and he goes through stretches where he uses it a lot, and then he kind of goes cold. But this season, specifically over the last 10 games or so, he just seems to be a little bit more aggressive with the puck. And I mentioned the point rate is way up. 8 shots on goal in his last game. Like I said, you're just seeing more performances like this from him over the long term. And it's not like the opportunities are going to go anywhere soon because the Coyotes don't have anyone else to play in this top line role. So, it's not the greatest matchup against Anaheim, but is it ever a good matchup for Arizona? I think at 4,100, Keller is just a play at that price. I think you could also look to Nashville again with a guy like Eli Tolvanen, who's going to get more power play exposure as well. He's only 3,400 there. So Nashville going to create some opportunity with the COVID issues.
Geoff, take us to the DK Sportsbook. Money line or puck line bet you like?
Yeah, my money line bet for tonight is definitely going to be the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, this is just a team that's they've just put it all together, and we've seen even when Vegas in prior years have been at 90% or not scoring that great, but they've still been good defensively. They're just a tough team to beat, and now they've got Max Pacioretty playing out of his mind. The second line is producing. If they ever get Robin Leonard to start standing on his head, this team's going to be unbeatable. And I think a minus 130 here. You come and say, well, the Rangers are getting disrespected, but the Rangers have not been really that good. They beat Arizona their last time out. Whoop-de-woo. They finally got a goal for Mika Zibanejad. This Rangers top line really has not been producing, and now they're facing a juggernaut in the Golden Knights. They still don't have Shesterkin back. I think you take the Golden Knights tonight to win straight up.
Paul, you like anyone with plus money?
No, I think the Knights are the ones that you go on tonight for everything that Geoff said. They're winning 5 of their last 6 games. They're not affected by COVID. One of the few teams that can say that around the league. And the top line, like I said, was silent. I don't think that's happening twice in a row. They'll be key contributors to a win on Broadway. Take the visitors on the money line for -115. I don't know if you guys caught the news too, just out of Winnipeg, that their coach resigned suddenly. And I think that's an impact on the game that they have with the Capitals this evening. The Jets have to be reeling as Paul Maurice announced his resignation this morning. And they'll also be without their captain as Blake Wheeler's out with a knee injury that caused a shuffling of their 2 scoring lines. The Caps, meanwhile, will be out without one of their top centers as well, as Kuznetsov's on the COVID protocol. But Lars Eller has been on a real nice streak as a top 2 center in this lineup, so they won't miss a beat there. He's filled in admirably well. Nick Backstrom was sidelined. Backstrom has returned, and he came back and was prolific and very visible as the Caps did put 4 goals on the board the other night. Take Washington at even money this evening.
Paul, which game total stands out to you?
I like the over 5.5 tonight as Nashville takes on the Chicago Blackhawks. The Preds have gone over 4 in their last 6, and the Hawks 3 in their last 4. So I like the respective clubs for their offensive capabilities more than the wobbly defensive structures. I also like the Anaheim offense. We've talked about them a lot as being a surprise among the league leaders on a nightly basis. They play a Coyotes club that is limping into town on a 6-game losing streak, and they're very bad defensively, worst in the league, in fact, allowing almost 3 3/4 goals a game. The Ducks may reach the game total all by themselves. I'm taking the over of 5.5 here.
Geoff, game total?
Yeah, there's not one necessarily on the board that I love more than another. I could see that Jets-Washington game developing into a shootout. Capitals goaltenders really haven't been that good. Paul did mention the Paul Maurice thing, though, and that just kind of scares me off a bit. I think my favorite game total is most likely the under in the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game. Pittsburgh's banged up front, too. Well, banged up, COVIDed up, however you'd like to refer to it. And Tristan Jarry most likely to get the start here. That just means that the Sabres aren't likely to score more than once in this game. And with Pittsburgh's offense not at 100%, I think you're getting plus 100 to take the under here, too. I think that's absolutely fine in this spot, considering that Pittsburgh's offense isn't at 100%.
All right, let's wrap up this potentially award-winning segment with your favorite player prop on the board tonight, Geoff.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that Paul made a really good case for, the Capitals and their offense and Nick Backstrom being back. I think Alex Ovechkin over 1.5 points tonight at plus 145. I'll take that, especially against a Jets team who, again, no Blake Wheeler, their head coach, just quitting kind of, again, we don't know for personal reasons, but it certainly came out of the blue. And you just can't describe the impact that these things have on a team. It certainly, I don't think, is going to be a positive thing. And Ovechkin, 16 points in his last 10 games. Again, just shooting the puck like a madman again. I think that the fact you're getting plus 145 in this spot, I think you should take it, especially on a night like tonight with all the things going around the Jets organization.
Yeah, Paul, what do you like here for a player prop tonight? Which one should you take advantage of?
This is for AJ. I'm going back to Sidney Crosby, score a goal, pay out at plus 135. A lot of love going to my partner today. I miss him. Pacioretty was silent last time out. Tonight he gets back on the score sheet in New York. This guy is a big, prolific shot guy, too. He'll pay off with a goal tonight at a plus 125 bet. For slightly better payouts than these, though, I look for Alex DeBrincat to take advantage of playing with Patrick Kane. For those of you who haven't watched these guys play together, it's a real treat. Kane is one of the best guys for his on-ice vision, and he makes passes that other people wouldn't even consider. And DeBrincat's converted 16 of those into goals this season. I think he gets number 17 tonight at home against Nashville, paying out at plus 155.